welcome to GitLab Commit 2020. My name is Danny Smith. I am the Global DevOps Solutions Lead at ServiceNow, and I'll be presenting the session, Accelerate ServiceNow Change Management for DevOps. In the session, I'll provide an overview and demo of the ServiceNow Enterprise DevOps platform, which is available today via the ServiceNow store. The platform integrates out of the box with most popular DevOps tools, of course, such as GitLab, to accelerate your software delivery lifecycle while helping to maintain operational stability by preventing outages. We'll focus today in particular on the integration layer between GitLab and ServiceNow DevOps, which was developed in a partnership between both companies to be included as part of the platform. So let's jump right in and get started. We'll do a couple of slides here and then jump right into a demo. So at ServiceNow, we've developed a DevOps platform and data model to function as a bridge connecting dev to ops by focusing on 4 key DevOps metrics that the industry is somewhat normalized on in order to measure success and improve performance. You can also use the data collected from your DevOps toolchain to tackle many complex use cases in the DevOps world, as you can see here on the slide. Our particular area of focus, however, in our initial go-to-market is around change automation. Because at ServiceNow, we view change automation as the key to true enterprise DevOps at scale. So that'll be the focus of today's demo. So in the demo, I'll use an architecture and tool chain you'll commonly see used in the industry. We'll use Jira as our agile planning tool, as it's currently the most popular in the market. But this could be any other agile planning tool, such as ServiceNow Agile Development or GitLab boards. Source code management will be handled by GitLab repos. Continuous integration and deployment will be handled by GitLab CICD pipelines, with ServiceNow being the ITSM system of record. ServiceNow IT operations management will also be used to help maintain operational stability in this architecture. So we'll deploy a Java-based application to a live running website hosted on AWS running Tomcat, as you see there on the right side of the screen. And just to give you a little bit of technical background on the integrations, they function by utilizing webhooks to pull in things such as work items and code commits instantly into the DevOps data model. And we'll see that as part of the demonstration. For the GitLab pipelines integration, we're also using the same webhook technique to track the progress of your pipeline, pass in important data such as test results, and use that data to automate all aspects of change management, even up to and including the approvals of the changes. It's actually very rare to see any solution in the industry that's focused on the approval part of change management. Most solutions that I've seen in the market today focus on automating the creation of the change, but they leave the approval to be done manually. So all of this is accomplished, by the way, that you're going to be seeing today with development teams not logging into ServiceNow at all, but instead staying in the tools they normally use and love, like, of course, GitLab. They stay in these tools working away happily while the integration between GitLab and ServiceNow takes care of all the business logic behind the scenes. So imagine, if you will, especially if you're a developer watching this, never having to create a change ticket or attend a change approval board meeting ever again. Probably sounds like music to your ears, or possibly even magic. So let's get out of the slides and jump into demo time and see how this actually works. So we'll begin here by setting a little context. Here is my Apache Tomcat website. It's a fictional company called Globex, not an evil organization. We can see here that it's got a footer, a header, an index page, everything that you would typically see on a corporate website. And someone has just pushed a brand new change of demonstrating careers at GitLab, because obviously GitLab also not an evil organization. So as I look at the overall CI/CD pipeline that brought that change to fruition, we'll start from left to right here. This is my Jira Agile Planning backlog. This is GitLab repos that you should be familiar with. And this is my associated GitLab CI/CD pipeline that's attached to that repo in my project. And I've got 4 stages here: build, UAT, test, and then deploying into production. So that's my overall CI/CD pipeline. So what I'll begin is by showing you how easy it is to commit work items and commits into the ServiceNow DevOps data model. So let's look at today's work items. So no new work items have come in today. So I'll just create a brand new work item here. We'll do something kind of easy and fun here. GitLab and ServiceNow love DevOps. So brand new work item that I committed in Jira, and I'll refresh the screen. You can see that comes in instantly. So what that allows us to do is take work items, commits, pipeline executions, everything that happens in your CI/CD pipeline, pull it into our data model so we can provide the business logic automation that's happening behind the scenes. So what I'll do at this point is pull up what's known as the event management console in ServiceNow. And in particular, that's going to be comprised of application services that are being used to monitor the production websites that we have out in our Amazon cloud environment. So this particular web service, if you look at a topology map of it, now that we've mapped our pipeline in ServiceNow and correlated it to the environment that we're deploying code to, I have a single pane of glass here that's very nice. So I can look at the operational stability of my environment. Do I have any current outages? Have I had any outages in the recent past? Any open incidents? What are all the changes that have been made to my environment? So you can see here we've had lots of changes that have happened in our software factory here. Some of these changes are going through in literally minutes. And we have a full documented change record that we can look at that we'll pull up here shortly. And then also due to the Better Together story with DevOps and IT operations management, we can keep a running tab on the files that have been changed on our environment. So we not only know the DevOps changes, the code commits, and all the test results and everything that's happening, but we know the actual changes that are being made to our infrastructure that are associated with those commits. So you can see here as we update the Tomcat web apps, our WAR file, our Java application has been modified. So we know the last modification that went through. So what I'll do here before we look at a current change or a change in the past and pull up the change ticket and walk through how all of this automation happened, I'll go ahead and simulate an event. It actually won't be a simulation. I'm going to do a real kind of an evil thing to myself here. On my Apache Tomcat environment, what I'm going to do is pick off a script that I've created that's going to spike my Java virtual memory and cause me to go to a high threshold, which will cause ServiceNow from an event management standpoint to react to that, the AWS CloudWatch event that comes through. You can see there that just happened live. We turned red. We have an operational instability in our environment. You see a critical alert just came in that my virtual memory has in fact exceeded 98%. This is the configuration item for my Tomcat website. And I've also automatically generated an incident that comes through as part of that. So if I go back and look at my application service, you can see here it's turned red. We do have an open incident. We have an ongoing alert. And so that kind of changes the overall landscape of this software factory where changes are flying through at a very fast pace. So what we'll do at this point is try to commit a brand new update to this website while we're in this unstable environment. So I'll take something off of my Jira backlog, say, for instance, update text on the front page. So my story ID here is core-13, corporate website -13. So what I'll do is come into GitLab, to GitLab repos, and I'll come through and do an edit. And we'll add in some text here, to our website. Let's do something that will jump off the screen at us. We'll give a shout out to everyone here at the GitLab Commit Conference. And let's go through and tag it with that story ID from Jira. That's important. So our commits will be associated with work items that come from our Agile planning tools. And I'll go ahead and trigger that commit. And so if you're familiar with GitLab CICD pipelines, when I make the commit, it's going to trigger, you can see here my job that's going to be launched here in a minute, and go ahead and begin to try and deliver software, the Java application to this website. So as I triggered that, let's go through and look at some previous changes that were made and what went into those change tickets as things were flying through very quickly. So if I look at today's DevOps changes, you can see here that we've had a lot of changes come through, and these are basically being completely populated and approved within seconds, usually less than 1 minute. The highest has been 4 minutes, but everything's flying through very quickly here. And so when I look at a change ticket from the past, we'll pull up one here. You can see that we've got all of this DevOps contextual data that goes in automatically. No one's logging into ServiceNow to type in any of this information. It's populated automatically by the automation. But you do have some element of control as to what goes into the change ticket. So you can see here that there's some good templated data that we provide, links back to the GitLab for implementation plans, but you can customize any of this. So I added a quick customization before the session, just saying, hello, GitLab Commit Conference. I do have a backout plan here. So that shows you how easy it is to add in customizations. So the net of this is the automation populates every change ticket, but you control and can customize what goes into the ticket. And then on the bottom of the screen, as a reviewer or an auditor, you have everything in one place. Probably for the first time, you'll be able to see things like the affected environment that was deployed or affected by the change that you deployed, your impacted business services. Here's my Tomcat service, my GlobeX Prod web service. Who approved the change? This was approved by automation. What were the work items that were associated with the change? So I've got here a careers tab was added to the website, and the commits that were made as part of this artifact deployment. So this was a committer that, and you can drill into the actual commit record and review it. This was the person that indeed went in and changed from careers at ServiceNow to careers at GitLab. And as it turns out, this last change, if we looked at the operational stability, could be the culprit that caused our issue with Java memory. And so let's look at how was the change actually approved. So the ticket was populated with data from your tool chain automatically, but then it walked through this logic-based approval process. And when we come into this change policy, we'll be able to see something that's native to the ServiceNow platform, which is this notion of change approval policies. You can use this for DevOps changes, infrastructure changes, any type of change. In the DevOps enterprise platform, we leverage this existing technology using DevOps contextual data to help you fully automate the approval process, and I'll show you exactly how that works. So it's based on policy inputs and decisions that you can make with that data. So it's completely data-driven and real time in its calculation. And you can add in different data points from any parts of your CICD tool chain and also from ServiceNow natively. So you can see here the number of open incidents, the number of outages in the last 7 days. That comes from ServiceNow as it's tracking the application service that I showed you in the previous screens. The percentage of test results passing, that comes from GitLab, but it could come from Selenium or any other types of testing tools that you've wired an integration into our DevOps data model for. Anything in the ServiceNow change request can be included. Are you in a implementation window, some type of a blackout period? Are there any conflicts to other changes that are happening to that environment at the same time? Anything that would normally be done in an ITSM change request can be part of your decision-making process. Commits without work items. This comes from a combination of Jira and GitLab repos. The number of lines of code changed. How big is my commit? I'm getting that from the commit records that are coming in from GitLab. And then we have anything else in our pipeline execution that we can build a relationship with, we can also pull into our decision tree here. So you can have as many of these conditions as you want, and your execution can be to match the first decision that matches, or you can run all decisions that match. I usually pick first in, first out logic. It's a little bit cleaner and easier to follow. And I've got 3 different decisions here and 3 different answers. So I'm either going to auto approve my change if all my policies are met. I'm going to auto reject the change if the high risk condition is evaluated. And if either one of these conditions is not evaluated, I will escalate this for manual review. So we'll have a human take a look at it, a CAB approval board, potentially someone will review this change and decide whether or not we're going to approve or reject it. So if I drill in and look at all policies met, I'll see that my conditions for passing all these policies are if my test results pass at a high percentage, I'm operationally stable, I have no open incidents, I haven't had any outages in the recent past. All of my commits are tied back to Jira work items or any other agile planning tool, and I have no conflicts going on in the environment, no other changes happening to the infrastructure or no other DevOps changes coming in at that exact time. If I meet all of these, I auto approve the change. And so that's what's been happening to all of my changes this morning. If for some reason we don't match one of those policies, it'll try to match the high-risk policy. In this case, it's exactly the opposite. I've had an outage here recently. There was more than 2 open incidents. We're not passing at a high percentage. So I think we'd all agree if you're passing at a low percentage to an operationally unstable environment, we'll just auto reject that change. We won't waste anyone's time. We still have a documented record of everything that happened, but it will be automatically rejected in ServiceNow and canceled. And it will also cancel the GitLab CICD pipeline execution. So that's a key thing to note, is that we're creating this gate between ServiceNow and GitLab that either approves or denies and can actually cancel executions in GitLab. And then finally, the third condition is we'll have someone manually review a change if it doesn't meet the top 2. So what we'll do is take a look at the pipeline executions that have come through. You can see here my GitLab pipeline is currently stopped on step 3 of 4. And we can go in and look at this that is actually blocked. So it's awaiting some type of manual action. And that's because it did not meet our DevOps policies because of the operational instability. So if I go in and look at this change, if I pull back the change request ticket here, I can actually manually review this change and look at it. So I can see here everything. I can see the commits that happened, the artifact version that the commit was related to, the impacted services. It has all the same type of data as the previous changes went through, but we do see, in fact, that it was escalated for manual review because of the operational instability. So if someone from our network operations center contacted us and said, that incident has been cleared, we can go ahead and either approve or reject this change if we want. So I'll go ahead and approve it. And once you approve it, you can actually add some notes, do whatever else you want to it, and then trigger it to the implementation status. And once you do that, it will communicate back with GitLab and release that code out into production. So I went ahead and moved that to implement status. And then what will happen here, you'll see within a few seconds, this will trigger the actual deployment in GitLab. And what will happen is it will actually push that code out into our production environment. You can see that just happened. And I'll do a screen refresh here. And here's the shout out that we made to the conference. So thanks a lot for your time and attention. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.